Hey, everybody. This is Eric J. Olson for yet another episode of the Managing Partners Podcast. In this podcast, we interview America's top managing partners to find out what they're doing to run their firms, grow their firms, and to keep the cases coming in. And today, from my hometown, or at least very close to it, of Norfolk, Virginia, we have Leslie Williams and Sarah Morris. Hey there.
Hey, Eric. 757.
Yeah, we are all in the 757. So I'm from a little town called Chesapeake, Virginia, and you guys are in Norfolk. Do you? I know your office is there. Do you live there as well?
We do. I'm in Colonial Place,
and I live in Larchmont, which is near Old Dominion University.
Yep, I know the neighborhoods well. I used to live in Colonial Place. Love the area. The area.
Great.
Well, cool. This is great because a lot of times we're talking to attorneys from across the country. I love talking to people like any other business owner or attorneys that are local. I love it. This is great. So if you would tell us a little bit about yourselves and your firm.
Yeah. So our firm is female owned, veteran owned. We have been in business now for 4 years as of May of 2018. Awesome. So yeah, we made a decision before we started our firm to focus only in the area of family law. We made a very conscious decision on that. That's where we both had experience before we started our firm. And it was important for us to not be a jack of all trades. I know some attorneys are all about that, but for us, no. Yeah. We wanted to focus on family law. And we met each other before we were even attorneys, actually. So, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I think that really makes it actually so amazing because we knew each other's strengths before we became business partners too. And so that's a real asset. Biggest strength is humor, a lot of laughing.
Yeah.
Family law can be kind of crazy circus. And so it's important to put things into perspective too.
Yeah.
And my specifically background, I, went from school to school into law school. I think God knew if I took any break, I was not going to ever go back to school. But originally I wanted to go into intelligence, FBI type route. And then I had an amazing professor way back when who was an attorney, and that kind of brought me into the legal course. In addition to when my parents adopted my sister from China, kind of saw the intersection of law.
Oh, wow.
Law and all of that, and really the fun side of law, adoption law. And we do that, but primarily we do a lot of divorce cases, custody support, and a newer expanded area. Do you want to talk about co-parenting?
Yeah, well, and co-parenting. So my background is that I grew up in the realm of family law. So my entire life was dysfunctional growing up. And so it kind of gave me this heart for it, but I did not go school. I went school, military, school, and working full-time for Department of Social Services in North Carolina. I did child support enforcement. And then it was there that the child support enforcement attorney and the judge that we were consistently in front of kind of encouraged me, maybe you could do more. And so, yeah, I was like, well, let's try it. And then I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and so I really have a heart for co-parenting. I have a co-parent, and, we're always learning and growing in that, especially through the ages of, our son who's 15 now and in 9th grade. And so it's, I basically get to use my experience, good, bad, and the ugly, in helping to, guide our clients through really terrible things. So.
Yeah, it's interesting how you both touched on that, how with family law, it can be difficult. These are difficult situations, obviously, with divorce, but there's also a bright side to it, right? There's co-parenting, how you can make that successful. There's also giving people kind of this new lease on life, right? Like let them out of the situation that they're in, guide them into another situation that's hopefully better for them. So there's an awful lot of positive as well that can come from it.
Yeah.
Now, I know with the pandemic, it seems like family law had kind of like a big boom for a while when the lockdown started. Is that still happening?
Yeah, it is. And we're still seeing the fallout, unfortunately. I mean, just like many other spheres are, of what isolation has done for many people and their marriages, their children. Kind of an intersection, though, with family law, big intersection for us that we take very seriously is mental health.
Yeah.
I mean, my dad's a psychiatrist. We have friends who are therapists. And so personally, we know the importance of taking care of our mental health. And we really try to help our clients understand the importance of that too, of getting into therapy. You know, the law can only do so much. The judge can only do so much. And so we view that in a holistic way too. So mental health is big at our firm. We talk about it. We talk about it during consultations too, which, you know, some people may be like, oh, isn't that too much? No, because we need to know too what's going on, especially when it comes to custody cases and all of that. But would you say too, Leslie, we're seeing the fallout?
Yeah, I mean, the fallout continues to today. I think, you know, I'm a big proponent of the fact that like if stuff's emerging now, it's probably been festering for a while anyway. And so kind of to your point, Eric, was that, you know, sometimes we are giving people a new lease on life. They've just gotten to the point where they're like, I just don't want to do this anymore. And so we really believe in more of like an all person type of lawyering, which is a little different than a lot of our colleagues. We actually have a network of therapists that we refer people to. We have financial planners. We have, we have, you know, even down to like babysitters and, you know, realtors. And so like, that's really important to us, is to be able to have like vetted individuals and professionals that can also help our clients, so we can like pass them on. So we're not just like leaving them in the dark, you know, and then we, like we mentioned earlier, you know, we continue to assist our clients after their cases are over, if they do have children, through co-parenting coaching and that sort of thing.
I think that's great. All the things that you both just said is fantastic, because, you know, like in your profession, you're going to get paid for legal fees if you help people get divorced. But it sounds like there's even a lot of discussion up front about, is this the right thing? And be prepared on the back end, and probably a lot of extra, you know, time and touches with the client, if you will, basically interactions where you may not be able to charge fees, right? But it's the right thing to do to get these people going in the right direction, or maybe not even send them in that direction, right? Maybe there's another way. Maybe the counseling is the way.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's true. And there are oftentimes after a consultation, we'll say to people, you really, in my opinion, don't need us right now. But here's when I think you will need us. So every case is so different. And we believe in reconciliation too. Believe it. Divorce attorneys do believe in reconciliation. It's just when most people come to us, they have tried those things. They have tried therapy or counseling, that kind of thing. And so we're able to give them the legal tools when they want to have a change. Yeah.
And I'm sure it's actually quite fulfilling if you could help someone reconcile or give them a suggestion, and then, you know, it doesn't have to go down that route. So I would imagine it's a win-win no matter what.
Yeah, it is. And we also believe in the fact that not all cases need to go to court. And we actually, which might be the antithesis to what most divorce attorneys would say, is like, let's go to court, let's fight, let's get all the fines. Right. So at the end of the day, and we'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but like we like referrals. And so we really don't want to take people's children's college funds away from them. So they can go fight for something in court that they have maybe a 50-50 chance of getting. Yeah. So it's like, I'm happy if you want to pay my law school debt. I'm totally cool with that. However, maybe we should look at all options to try to resolve this. And even if we can't resolve everything through some type of like, you know, dispute resolution tools, maybe we can resolve most of it. And then we're taking very limited things in front of the judge. Right. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So referrals, you mentioned that. And this is, you know, we're a digital marketing agency, so we're always interested in finding out how law firms are getting new leads, new clients, prospective clients, how they're handling them. Can we talk about referrals first? So referrals, I assume, is a pretty big part of getting new clients, referrals from existing clients.
Yes. So actually, we didn't really even start doing any type of other like paid marketing until about 8 months ago. So our first about 3.5 years was just based off of referrals from our prior clients, but also referrals through our attorney partner network. We've been really purposeful about sitting down when we first started our business and saying who are these attorneys that we know that have tangentially related businesses to us? So for instance, criminal defense attorneys, real estate attorneys, all of these types of they're touching, but we're not conflicting. And then being purposeful about meeting with them, getting to know them if we don't know them first. And then the people that we do know saying hey, if you get these types of people who are in need of family law attorneys, this is what we're about. This is what we will provide to the client. If we get somebody, this is what we'd like to do. This is how we'd like them to be taken care of. Do we think this is a partnership that can work? And Eric, that has been about 80% of our new clients has been through a referral partner network. And we just continue to build that and build it. And then we also do marketing. We got our pay-per-clicks and our AdWords and all of our things. And that just really kind of got it started recently over the past, this year. So, and we're really seeing a lot coming in with that, but it's pay to play. So it's a numbers game, you know what I mean? And without a solid foundation in place to do that, that is impossible for a law firm to keep up with.
I agree. Yeah, that's a great point. You have to have the foundation first before you start turning on the spigot and getting more cases than you would through just referrals and organically. So you mentioned pay-per-click. So we're talking about Google search in particular. Yeah. How about Facebook, social media ads? You do that too? Good for you.
We do that. For us, it's really also about when it comes to Instagram, having that presence, and find us. But that's not the way that we're banking on that people are only going to know about us. It is through those referrals, like Leslie is talking about, that we've seen the clients come who want our services. But yeah, we're all about the Insta. So we're trying.
I love Instagram. Although I'm starting to love TikTok a little bit more, to be honest.
You know what? That's our next thing. We're not on TikTok yet, but stay tuned, Eric.
We're not on TikTok, but our assistant keeps going, I need you on TikTok. I'm
it's crazy. We don't have a TikTok service here, but I do TikTok for myself, which is from a lot of the podcasts that we record. And we'll get thousands of views on every one of those videos that I post. But there's also, we have some other lawyers that post regularly on TikTok, and they'll get tens of thousands of views.
Crazy.
And thousands of likes. And I know a realtor who does it as well. And it's constant, and they get a lot of business from it. So TikTok seems to be really a place of interest for lawyers. If you're okay with putting yourself in front of the camera, and Instagram should be a lot like that as well, kind of the personal side, the social side, right?
Yeah. And that's the side that we're like, what do you mean? People want to know that we're real people?
Yes,
exactly. Yeah.
There's so many attorneys they could go to. So yeah, it's important for us that people know we are.
You're very personable. You like to talk. So you would do very well in front of the camera like that. So if you start a TikTok, I'll be your first follower. How about that?
All right, Eric. We're going to hold you to it.
Yeah, we have witnesses. Many witnesses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is going to be public one day. So, well, cool. Hey, on your marketing, how are you handling that? Are you doing that in-house? You mentioned an assistant. Is he or she helping?
Yeah, so our assistant does help us with some things, but with marketing, we actually have a company that helps us.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're helping us with the SEOs and all that fun stuff. But I will say, if somebody's starting off and wanting to hire one person and thinking about marketing, in our opinion, it's really important to have that foundation, like Leslie said, from the beginning, because you could have the calls coming in, but the foundation for us is really having somebody to field those calls first, having a system that tracks the ROI, what's working. If you're not tracking it, if we weren't tracking it, we wouldn't know what ads are working, as you know. So it's like we could throw money out, but how do we even know what's sticking? Because sometimes, we ask people when they call, what our intake specialist that we have, we'll try to ask, well, how did you hear about us? Well, everybody says Google, but was it the ad? Was it Facebook that popped up? People don't always remember. I wouldn't remember if I was, experiencing a trauma of needing a family law attorney. What did I search necessarily? So it's important to have that tracking to see what's working.
Yeah. Now the thing is, usually that tracking requires a paid piece of software. All right. So that's yet another expense. So, but it does require an investment. So, and you can do it without tracking, but it's best to know what's really producing, especially if you're putting the money in, it's you mentioned it's pay to play, in particular with Google ads. You will not get a lead unless you pay Google. And if you turn it off, the leads go away. So if you're going to be paying for every single click, you really want to know if one ad is producing 5 times as many leads as the other ad. If so, guess what? You want to shift your money over. But if you don't have that tracking software, you'll never know.
Yeah. And I would go a step further, or actually not a step further, but a step back, because if we start our firm and we didn't first know who we were even going for and what kind of firm we are, I mean, we got real clear about our ideal client, because we're not for everybody,
and we're okay with that. There's enough attorneys in the sea,
like, it's fine. Like, and we actually tell our clients that we have a pretty robust consultation interview sheet that we've been developing ever since we've been practicing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you do have to get little step by step. The practice management program that we use actually started having a CRM program attached to it. And so we started tracking it on our own, just with our referrals. And so as we're doing that, we're like, oh, okay. And then it's like, oh, did you know that this system does this thing? No, I had no idea the system did this thing. Let's use this thing this month, and it's just been such a slow roll. So I think like the thing I'm thinking of in this conversation is, it seems like this just started happening, but this has really been our entire business's like trajectory to right now. And now the spigot is working.
Yeah. It's the overnight success, 4 years in the making.
Right. Yeah. And also add to, what some people may not know about family law is it can take sometimes even a year before, they come for the consultation, or we found them, they found us. And then when they're ready to get started, because sometimes people, they want to take time. They're not in court. They can take time. And then all of a sudden, if they're served with something, for example, it's like, now I need you, Leslie. Yeah. Now I need you, Sarah. Yeah. And so I think that could be a little different than other areas of law, like criminal defense or PI. It's like, I need an attorney right now. Not always in family law.
Right.
We're about to go over on time. Do you have a few more minutes?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you don't have a hard stop. It is interesting that you said that, because that happens a lot with us as well. Like we'll talk to a law firm, and they're like, "No, we're good. And then 3 months later, I'll get an email, "Hey, we're ready to talk." And so, what's interesting as a marketer is that they may, when that happens, it's kind of almost luck that they remember you, because so much has happened in their lives in the world in the last, say, 3 months between when you last talked to them and when they finally reach out. And that's why it's important, I think, to remind people that you exist, right? And so things like an email newsletter, and not abusing it. You don't want to send like an email every day unless you advertise that up front, but like, just keep yourself in their minds, or social media like Instagram or TikTok, right? If every time I open up TikTok, or every fifth time I open up TikTok, I see someone that I'm thinking about maybe one day doing a deal with them, that helps remind me that they're still there, because I'll forget. And I'm guessing other people are like me as well. They'll forget.
Yeah.
Do you have any systems in place for like dripping emails or reminding people who have reached out for a consultation but didn't actually pull the trigger? Do you have any systems in place to remind them that you exist, and to maybe one day help them remember to come around?
We do right now for people that have found us, that have had consultations, and we're slowly building up to then the 6 months later, year later, that kind of thing with our CRM system that Leslie mentioned.
It's really a direct call straight from our assistant. She keeps herself on a schedule, and then she calls, and she's the one, because it's that personal touch that we really feel like that's kind of us, period.
Yeah.
So, and, I think the rub for us is, okay, the bigger we get, how do we make this scalable?
Right.
And so that's always the conversation that's being had from like quarter to quarter, year to year, is how do we continue to make sure that we are taking care of our clients in a way that feels good to us and for us and is representative of us, but also knowing that, we're doing something wrong if in 5 more years it's Sarah and Leslie doing everything.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
that's right. Well, and that's what's really smart about the way that you've built your firm so far, in my opinion, is that in the beginning, what you had was your reputation and your network, and you leveraged that, right? So you got clients, and then you leverage that to get a bigger network and to get referrals. But at some point, you kind of start to like tap that out, right? You can only reach if you're only going after your network, it can only get really so big unless you do something else, like scaling it on social media, or by driving more people into your network intentionally versus you just bumping into them, or a client who's happy with your services from a previous engagement remembers to refer you. And some clients, may never even get an opportunity to provide you a referral because they never have a friend that needs this.
Right. People joke to us too. They're like, thanks for, I'm glad you have a business. Thanks for your social media, your blogs, but I hope I never need you. And I hope I never have a friend that needs you.
Yeah.
Like, well, you may, because, it can be a sensitive subject talking about family law and the kinds of clients and cases we serve.
Yeah.
But,
but we also expand our social network too, our professional social network. So like Sarah is in a BNI chapter that is like very robust here in Norfolk. And like I am in our Hampton Roads Chamber of Commerce Lead 757 program, which is really cool. We both like to volunteer. Like we love this.
Yeah, that's definitely opened up different spheres, not just boring attorneys, other people and business owners. And, so that's been really good.
Yeah.
Kevin, my business partner, Kevin Daisy, he just went to a BNI meeting in Norfolk like a week ago. Did you bump into him?
Oh
Sarah?
my gosh. You know what? The name sounds familiar. It was a large group. Now I have to think about, I need to look at my roster to see.
Was that when you did the speech? Wasn't that the
was
last
Was it live or was he on?
It was live. It was last week.
Oh,
let me, now we're way off track.
We were in Zoom last week, so I'm wondering if it was a different chapter.
Yeah, it might have been.
Because we meet live person on the first Wednesday of
this is him here. You can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check my roster again. It may have been a different group. Well, obviously, they're great chapters, and it's made up of business owners that I would never have met because I'm just not in their orbit. They're not in mine.
That's right. Well, you kind of have to put yourself out there, right? And a lot of times we're running businesses. We don't have time. We got other obligations, but it seems like it kind of needs to be part of the job. And especially now that the world is, by the way, for anyone who's listening or watching now, the published date is going to be several months after the recording day. So we're recording this in the middle of May 2020, but the economy is just really starting to open back up after the pandemic. People are starting to get back out. But I think it's a really good opportunity for people now to get back out versus really wait for this whole coronavirus thing to pass, because there's an opportunity. A lot of people are still hunkered down. They may not be going to in-person events. If you do that, if you're concerned about the risk and are willing to take the risk, then it's actually, in my opinion, a competitive advantage to get out into the world now versus waiting till later.
Yeah. The real world.
Yeah. And
the real world
about it. I mean, we purposefully, you said we have to be purposeful about having connections like this. Sarah and I did not want to make that a thing. It's very difficult to find that balance, but you just have to put it in your schedule and do it. And it's like, if it's important, you'll make time for it. So every week we try to be purposeful with 1 hour a week that we're actually meeting with another business owner or another referral partner.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's great. When it comes to your marketing, what is something that's working better than you maybe would have expected it to right now?
I would think it was just the Google AdWords, but it's a numbers game.
It is a numbers game. I would say that, and a new hire that, is an unrelated point that we made a couple months ago to have an intake specialist. And that's working out great when you find the right person. We call it the right person in the right seat.
Right.
Retraction. It's pretty dense.
It's back there somewhere.
There's not there. We're still getting through it,
I don't know where it is.
But it makes such a difference to have that as part of the foundation. A person, not every business can have this right now, but to have somebody who's committed to taking those referrals through the whole pipeline, we call it, in our CRM.
Yeah.
But
You've mentioned your CRM a couple of times. Do you mind sharing which CRM it is?
We actually use Clio Grow. That's part of our Clio managed practice management software. It's just easy at this point, and we don't need anything too robust. But, when we start tapping out on the ability to utilize its total package, then we'll look into something new. But for now, it works, and we get a discount. And so, we look it over.
There you go. Yeah, I love the discount. No, it's great. It's obviously it's a world-class tool, and it's used very widely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, so I asked you what's working on the converse. What's not really working as well as you thought maybe it should, or something maybe that you stopped doing a little while ago?
Well, there was a magazine that we paid a lot of money for to be in for a whole year, and it's a great local magazine. However, how many people did we get from that, Leslie?
We didn't even get one phone call, which is really funny because somebody actually found us in there for something we didn't pay for and was a fabulous client.
Yeah.
And so we were like, yeah, sure.
We'll
Why
pay
not?
now.
We'll pay for a year. Not 1 cent. But you know what? Like
Live and learn.
Live and learn.
I have a similar experience where I advertised in a local business magazine for a year and a journal, and it cost a decent chunk of change, over $10,000 for the whole year. And I got one person mentioned it to me, and it was someone that I already knew that they weren't going to become a client, and that was it. No one else even mentioned it to me. And so it was incredibly discouraging. I've also had that experience with just newspapers in general. So in at least locally, I mean, I've been subscribed to the newspaper in a long, long time, but locally we have the main newspaper for the entire region. And then there's inserts for the individual cities. And I had a little bit of success with an ad in the insert for the city. So I thought, let me put an ad in the regional newspaper. It'll go to the entire region. And nothing, crickets. So it's you have to be like, I think when it comes to publications, I think there is a place for print if it's very specific, like incredibly niched, then it can make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense for us in the long run, but we were like you. I think we spent like $5,000 over a year, which was a lot of money when it's just the two of us, and it's like. It was the first time we did anything with marketing where we paid. So we were like, we thought to ourselves, like at the end of the day, you know what? It's fine.
Now
we live and learn. Now we won't use this. And that doesn't mean we still can't leverage other things through those publications, but very specifically, like you said. So, but we find print's not
live and learn
for us, not for us. I mean, all of our friends saw it and then would like,
they're like,
take pictures and text it to us. You're in the magazine. And I'm like, okay, this is the wrong demographic if we're getting all of our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It could be like that on social media sometimes too, where your friends see it and you're like, okay, that's cool. I'm glad you saw me, but I want my phone to ring. Right.
I'm clicking on the ads. I'm paying for those.
Yeah.
Don't click on those. Do me a favor.
We call that though don't go after the shiny object. And sometimes you don't know what the shiny object is until you try it.
Agreed. Yeah. And that's a good point. I think if you do try, like we were talking about TikTok before, I think if you're going to do something like that, then you really need to have a plan and you need to understand where you're about to get into. So like, let's say anyone listening was thinking about starting TikTok, like you have to have some sort of commitment. You have to know, like we had talked about like the in-person meetings, right? You said 1 hour a week. Like you made a commitment. We're going to spend 1 hour a week getting in front of other business owners and other people in the community. You have a plan, even if it's not written down. You have a plan on how you're going to execute. So any kind of shiny new object, you probably want to watch it for a little while, come up with a plan. When are we going to make this content? If it's social media, are we really willing to put our faces and our voices out there for everyone to see?
Yeah, because we did that for a while. Like, we started doing videos during COVID because we were like, well,
we have some time.
We're bored. We have time. Let's do it. And we were pretty consistent with it. And then when everything kind of opened back up a little bit in 21, like after summer of 21, we realized like we weren't able to be as consistent. And so now, with the urging of our assistant, she's like, we need to like get this back up and running. And we're like, but we need to do this in a way that we can keep up with it.
Yeah.
Cause like, I can't take 5 hours to do 3 hours worth of video right now. Like I can't do that. So yes, having a plan. I agree.
Great.
Yeah.
Speaking of plans, what are your growth plans for the next few years?
Oh, growth plans. So we actually have our 2022 plans that we did in December of last year were hire an intake specialist in Q1. So
that's done.
And then by the end of the year, we want to have a paralegal for the both of us, and then and an office manager, and we're looking to potentially add a new attorney. So
that's fantastic.
That's what we're hoping for.
Now, are you going to outgrow your office?
I don't think so, but here's what I know. Sarah and Leslie can get another office at a Regis Center in downtown Norfolk for not very much. So if we got to surrender our office for all of our staff members,
We're
then
okay.
that's cool.
Still sacrifice.
There's a model for that.
Yeah, there's a model.
That's right. That's right.
Well, and that's with COVID too. I mean, we've learned, I think most businesses have the beauty of bobbing and weaving, we call it, with technology. I mean, most people realize for their jobs, they don't have to be in the office every single hour for the day.
Right.
And so if we trust our employees to do their job, then we want that ability too, for them to be working virtual when they're able to, when it's fit. Unless we're doing trial prep, I'm like, I need you here. I need help with my trial binder.
I mean, we have enough offices to put potentially three more bodies in the firm. But again, we still want to be conscientious to the fact that like COVID's still a thing.
Yeah.
And again, to be conscientious to the fact that we don't have to do that. Like, you don't need to be here. I mean, our assistant is completely remote. We just have to be purposeful about how we do that. And so, we continually learn from other business owners and through podcasts and books on how to continue to build a culture, even if people aren't in the building.
Absolutely.
Because when done right, it can feel like that person, team member, is literally with you. I mean, we're very purposeful about meetings. We call them, morning and afternoon roundups. And
Nice.
And we may have to make a trip to El Salvador soon.
Yeah, that's where our assistant
see
is.
Daniela. She'll be going on our website soon. She's finished.
Sounds like a business expense to me.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I appreciate your time. This has been very educational and fun, frankly. If someone would like to reach out to you, if they have questions, if they have a case for you, a referral, what is a good way for them to get in touch with you?
Yeah. So we have our website at morrisewilliamslaw.com. They can click a form with their information to schedule a consultation. They can call us, our intake specialist, Daniela, at 757-226-9425. Or we are also on Instagram, like we said, at Morris Williams Family Law.
And TikTok soon.
TikTok soon.
Potentially TikTok soon.
Stay tuned.
Taking it over. All right. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate your time. All right, everybody. If you would like to see other fun and educational podcast episodes like this, you can find our entire backlog at arraylaw.com/podcast. Every one of our episodes is tagged by the practice area of the law firm that we're discussing, and also by the state. So you can really drill down to find exactly what you're looking for. And if you're looking for digital marketing for your law firm, check out my company, arraylaw.com. We specialize in websites, SEO, digital ads, and social media. Leslie and Sarah, thanks so much.
Thank you, Eric.